Robert Rivas Radio, Tejano, and much more.
Robert Rivas Radio, Tejano, and much more. And at this time, I'd like to welcome Chris Saucedo to my morning show. Good morning, Chris.
Thank you, Robert, man. Good to be here, man.
How you doing, amigo?
I'm doing great, man. I'm glad to be out here.
I got to tell you, man, it's Sunday, about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You guys are gigging here in New Braunfels at, there we go, Cozy's Ice House here in New Braunfels. And you're taking a break, and what do, man? I don't even let you take a break, dude. I say, get over here, Chris. I want to do an interview with you.
This is probably the fastest way to pull me away these days, man. We've been really busy.
Amigo, you've been in New Braunfels all weekend this weekend, right?
All weekend long. We've been here. We were here at a private event yesterday. Friday night, we were over at Billy's Ice, and which is notorious for a lot of great Texas acts that come out of that place. And then here at Cozy's, we've had a good relationship for the past 3 years with Cozy's, and I love the river, man.
Chris, where did this all begin, amigo? Where did this all start for Chris Saucedo?
All my life, I've actually been interested in being in the spotlight, being in music, and I loved music, and I loved singing. And I got to thank a good buddy of mine, Alex Perez, that I went to high school with. Oh, I was a dancer. I used to dance a lot, too.
Well, let me ask you, what high school did you go to?
Taft High School.
Taft High School. Wow.
Taft
there
High
we
School
go.
in San Antonio.
What year did you graduate?
1994. Would have been.
Well, would have been.
Yeah, but I continued to get my GED at that time.
There you go. Chris, we get rebellious, don't we? We know it all, man. We know it all when you're going to high school, man.
We do, but we did. I had to go to the National. I was in the National Guard for a little bit. I got into singing in high school. I started actually singing in public. And then I entered a couple of talent shows and stuff through friends of mine. And a friend of mine actually ended up failing, and he was supposed to sing. And that's how I ended up with the part of singing. And after that, I just really loved it. I left it for a long time, and I came back in about 9 years ago, I'd probably started karaokeing again. And I said, man, I really like this. And someone kept encouraging me and saying, Chris, just get a band. So I did what nobody else has done. I actually picked up my first band, the first Chris, which was the New Age Outlaws, was picked up off of, Craigslist, man.
Really?
I found my whole band on Craigslist.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. I found many a girlfriend on Craigslist, Chris.
Of course, it's matured since then. We got a better now. I don't have the same guys anymore, but originally we all did. But we all separated and gone and do better things, so it's all good. But
let me ask you this, Chris. Yeah. Let me ask you this. Okay, you're from San Antonio, Taft High School. Tejano is all over the place here in San Antonio, but you don't go that direction. You go country. Where was the separation, or was there any at all? Has it always been country for you?
Oh, I like all types of music, and it's not that I don't speak Spanish, and that's just common in San Antonio. We're a military, we're a military city. All my family's military. We just kind of were raised just on English, because that's what all our friends did. So, it's not that I didn't want to learn Spanish, but I never really got into the Tejano scene. I like it. I dance the hell out of it, I'll tell you that. But I just don't sing that type of music. It's not something that appeals to me.
I can understand what I'm saying. But when Tejano is all over the place here in South Texas, but yet you come out and you do your own thing doing country music.
Yes, sir.
Nice, man. Very nice.
I've always loved, I like R&B music. I like, different types of music, but country, Texas music, the rock and roll kind of southern rock kind of thing has always been I like singing. I enjoy singing that type of music. I guess it fits my vocals, so it makes me enjoy it every more when you can do it okay, and so.
You know what, Chris? I know your bass player Jaime Solis, and we're good buddies, and we always exchange stories. And one story he's exchanged to me about your band and you is that you guys sometimes get pressured when you're doing a gig. Hey, man, do you guys do Tejano? Do you do Tejano? But you stick to your guns. You play country, and that's what you're about, right?
It disappoints people, and I understand it. Our heritage is that we're Hispanic people, and we're proud people, so, we want to push that. But, the way I look at it is I was born and raised in Texas, and in Texas, we're just an independent place, and I can do... Texans have had that attitude of, I can do whatever I want. And this is just me saying, I'm not Hispanic. I don't have to sing Tejano music. I'm going to sing whatever I want, and this is what makes me feel good, and people enjoy it. So this is what I'm going to stick to. So I apologize. You never know. I may pop out a Spanish song sometime or another. Maybe I'll sing a Western tune in Spanish, But you never know. The thought has occurred. But at this time right now, no. My focus is just singing, country music, Texas music.
Chris, who have been your influences in country music?
Oh, man. You know, when I first started getting into singing again, Kenny Chesney was, people laugh. They think, well, Kenny Chesney has a great voice, got a great stage presentation. I loved his music. I still love his music. And then, of course, it evolved. I was introduced to Kevin Fowler and Randy Rogers, things of that sort. George Strait's always going to be a big place. But I'd have to say one of my favorites is Wade Bowen. He really got turned on to his stuff, and I really enjoy his music. So, but I've got several of them,
I understand that about a month ago, maybe give or take there a little bit, you had Flaco Jimenez join you on stage.
He came to our, that was the second time he showed up at our show.
Really?
He came to our CD release party, and before that, about 2 years prior to that, he ran into us at a bar, at a dive bar off of Tesla Road, and walked in, and he came out and played for us. And I was like, that is awesome. So he got to sit in with him then. And then I had asked his son if he maybe want to stop by our CD release party. Flaco was in Kerrville before our show. He had played earlier that day with the Tornadoes, and he raced into San Antonio, and he made it for my show.
I was very blessed, very fortunate to be able to interview Flaco Jimenez about a year and a half ago. I went to his house, and man, I had never met the man before. Simple hellos. But Chris, I've been very fortunate with many artists, even yourself, that once we start talking a little bit and doing an interview, I feel like I've known you guys forever and ever. Even with you, Chris, I hardly know you, but you know what, dude? One thing I do know about you, you love your Lone Star Light, amigo.
Oh, I love it. I'm drinking one now, Robert.
I know you are, man. It wasn't a wild guess.
We've been very fortunate to have Lone Star as our sponsor here in San Antonio, and they've actually been branching out in Austin's Lone Star beer down there in Austin has been helping up there in Austin, should I say. And then Corpus Christi is starting to turn around and start helping us out too. So yeah, the Lone Star family has been actually our big sponsor and helping us out with a lot of stuff, and we really, really appreciate them.
Chris, I've been very, very glad to be able to promote and push and play your music that I do on my internet radio station. And the people that have listened, and I'm not going to lie to you, man, my numbers do not lie. I'm closing in on 90,000 people have gone through my station in 3 years. And no lie, Chris, I play your music and people either go to my website to see who's singing the song, or they call me or they message me, who is that guy? How come we never hear him in other stations? I said, I don't know, but I'm not going to drop the ball. I'm going to play his music.
Thanks.
So talking about that, Chris, you have a brand new CD out, amigo.
Yes, Leaving San Antonio.
Well, okay, but before that, we released another song called
She Fights Like the Devil.
She Fights Like the Devil.
Yes.
What a song, Chris. Talk to me about the song.
That song is a song, that was the last song we added to that 7-song EP. I wrote that one in Lakey, Texas after being away for a while. And it's actually, and to be honest, I write a lot of songs about my wife because, of course, nothing influences music like a woman, So it's a song about my wife and kind of how we get by on things when, I'm away quite a bit. So at the time I think I was on a 2-week run of just playing day after day for 2 weeks straight. And we hadn't seen each other. So, we go out every now and then. We go find a little place that we can go dance, put on a jukebox, and have fun. And that's what the song's about, is how we make it happen and stay together with me in this crazy business. So
that's right. And Chris, it's a crazy, crazy business. And one thing that I want you to confirm to our listeners is that how difficult is it, amigo, to promote, to market, to record your own product?
It's very time consuming. It's very it takes a lot out of you because I do promote, I do my own managing, I got to book I book everything, so I don't have a manager or anything like that. It's a lot of work. I get by with a little help from my friends, I guess, as the song says. It goes right.
Sure.
And so, but it is a tough deal. But that is the way of Texas music. We are independent, and sometimes if you want to get out there with social media these days, you can push yourself and you can make it happen. A lot of these guys are self-made superstars that are out there, off of YouTube, so they can do it. Anybody can do it. You just got to want to bad enough.
Chris, and I applaud your efforts. I mean, you're a hustler, dude. Amigo, you're a hard worker. I mean, I was seeing you get ready for the gig here in New Braunfels here at Koozies. New Braunfels, and I'm seeing you, man. There you are. Okay, you got your sound check going. Then from there, you're pulling out your merchandise, and then from there, you're making sure the wire's straight. Then from there, you're making sure that the sounds good, the bass and everything else. Then you got to get up on stage, and then of course you got to carry your Lone Star light. Now you got to perform with that big smile on your face. And amigo, this is all at 2:00 in the afternoon.
Man, I tell you what, my grandfather, who was a retired Army sergeant, and he pretty much sat at home, after he was retirement and stuff. And I said, Grandpa, of course I was a young kid and I didn't really understand what retirement was. And I said, Grandpa, he said, you always get money and you never work. And he says, oh, mijo. He says, well, if you pick a job that you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And though you think I'm working hard up there, I'm loving every minute of it, man. So it's not work at all. It's just I love it.
And you have to.
Yeah,
it's got to be in your blood, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is definitely. I look forward to coming out, especially with the guys that I work with. Man, Jaime has become my best friend, and I mean, in such a quick time, dude. He's such a great friend to have, and he's so supportive, and he backs up everything we got to do. He's a real tight friend like that. He makes the music sound tight. Chris Baker's been with me for 5 years now on guitar, and he's absolutely amazing, man. And they're always there for me. Right now we don't have a drummer, but we've been using some great drummers. Sean Sankey's with us today. We've used guys like Kevin Cooley and David Pinkston, who's played at the Cowboys Dance Hall. The guy playing with us today was a Cowboys Dance Hall drummer for a while. So we've been using some big guys to come out and play with us. Bobby Jazombek, which is he goes on tour with Sebastian Bach. So yeah, we've been playing with some pretty hefty guys that come back and sit with us just to make sure that we don't lose track of the show. And it's still a lot of fun jamming with these guys because they know stuff that, once they start jamming, you never know what they're going to come up with, man. Last night we ended up with some Hendrix song playing at the middle of a country wedding. It was hilarious, but they dug it, man. It was cool.
Let's talk about your song, your brand new release, should I say, I'm Leaving San Antonio. Where did you get inspired to write the song?
Again, it's one of them songs, my wife is smart. I mean, she ticked me off one night, but
no way.
No, okay, go figure that. But and so I left San Antonio because we were playing in Ingleside the next day. So I left here writing that song on Facebook, and I was just based Facebook. I hadn't posted it or anything yet. I just started jabbing down just lyrics, and when I posted the first few lyrics, it was funny because people were commenting and they just started rhyming with everything. And so I just kind of I went along with it. I grabbed some of the verses and we stuck them together. And the next thing you knew, a month later, I had a song. So it was kind of written by the people for, with me together. So I hope they don't go back and want royalties or anything on it.
Chris, it's an awesome song. I've listened to the lyrics over and over again. I'm playing the hell out of it on my station.
Thanks.
I love the song. It's an excellent song. I mean, your CD. Now, 7 cuts. I got to ask you, why only 7? Usually, the average number is 10, but I've seen some at 7, some at 8. What was this reason why you only had 7 on this?
Money, of course.
Okay, gotcha.
I would have liked to have gotten 10 songs on there. I don't know. I was real picky about the ones that I chose, and I did 5 of my own, and I grabbed 2 from outside writers, and the outside writers were Scott Wiggins, which is Why Do I, and then I also grabbed one from a guy named Kevin Bryan, which is he's an officer with Helotes PD. He wrote the first song on the CD, which is. Wow, I'm going blank here on my own CD. I can't believe that.
I go through that also.
Faded Dream, which is written by Kevin Bryan, and then Faded Dream, great song. I really know it. He wrote it when he was 15 years old, and I heard him play it at a few acoustic shows, and I said, man, I'm going to play this one. So I was able to add them. They were local writers, they were small writers, and sometimes you might find, sometimes when you can go looking at a needle in a haystack. But you can always find you can always find a quarter on a parking lot, man.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's
And I dig that. I can settle for that as long as we can make it a good song, and people love it. So
Out of curiosity, Chris, what is one of the worst experiences you've had on the road? Something that scared you, something that shook you up, something that made you think twice. Anything happened that you said, man, wow. I don't know. Anything
on the road as far as
music,
on this whole music thing?
Anything, man, maybe at an event, a fight, somebody pull out a gun or who knows, maybe, because remember, many times you're driving back home, back to San Antonio in the middle of the night also. Anything? If not, don't worry about it. I've got to ask that question, though.
I haven't had any horrible experiences or anything else. I mean...
Anybody get rowdy on you at an event? Hey, man, this and that? Or is that always going on?
Well, there is the old infamous fight at my event that I got into, but I mean, hey, that was a long time ago.
Really? You got to fight? You got to fight at a gig? All right. I not only sing, Robert, I kick ass. There you go.
It was a pretty large number on one, so I can't say that I won that one, but hey, but I went down in a blaze of glory. I'll tell you that.
You went down swinging, right, Chris?
And then Toby Keith wrote the song. I'm not as good as I once was.
You probably inspired it, dude. There you go. Okay, now let me flip the other side to it. Has there been an experience for you where you say, this is the best, man?
When Flaco Jimenez came out at my CD release party, I was in tears. I cry about it. I'm in tears right now thinking about it. That was the most... My grandfather was the hugest Flaco fan, and he passed away in 96, and my grandmother passed away in 06, and they always sing and stuff, and my grandfather was always Flaco, and for Flaco Jimenez to show up and do what he did and then jam with us on that stage on my first CD release, and he actually played Leaving San Antonio with us, and he loved it, and he wants to re-record it, and we're looking into that right now before we actually drop the song, but that was the best moment in my whole career. I've opened up for Tracy Lawrence, I've opened up for Mark Chestnut, I've opened up for Stoney LaRue, which is one of my favorites, Aaron Watson, Roger Creager. I haven't had Roger Creager join the band on stage, but nothing will beat the moment where I'm releasing a CD and Flaco Jimenez comes in to come and jam with us.
Grammy award-winning,
legendary guy,
internationally known.
And I can't thank Leonard and for having him out there, and I can't thank him for wanting to come out there. So that was probably the highlight. That's been the highlight of my career right now.
That's awesome. Chris, any last words for your fans?
Guys, buy the CD. You can buy things online. You can buy our music on my webpage at chrissaucedoband.com. You can go out to a show, man. Come check it out. It's a little something different. It sounds like country, like Randy Rogers says. It sounds like country, but not your grandpa's country. But it's still got the same two steps. It's not hard to dance to at all. So come out and see us sometime.
There we go. Chris Saucedo, thank you for being part of Robert Rivas Radio.
Thank you, Robert. It's been a pleasure being here, man. Thank you.